fools may not speak wisely.
Good thinking, Detective. The Carmen note referred to the thing that burned down the globe, and that was the spark of the cannon. Ha ha! We've caught Medivh again. I'd say there's trouble brewing for this witch. Medivh, you're coming with me. We'll keep you under our spell back at Acme headquarters.
A second seance in that Acme cell won't be a spiritual experience. But you'll never conjure up Carmen Sandiego. Ha ha!
Way to go! You tossed Medivh in the dungeon, helped Shakespeare with his scripts, and got the globe together. All in time for a command performance. Shakespeare's works will survive through the generations right up to the Broadway stage thanks to you. Nice work. That performance deserves a promotion. Your new badge says, Time Inspector. And there's a crime up ahead that needs inspecting. Can you take the case? Your next stop is North America 1776. A key American document should have been signed by now, but it's nowhere in sight. You'll be handling a political hot potato, Inspector. I'm sending Polly Tix along to give you good advice. She knows all the political angles and the lines and curves, too. Good luck, and give Ben Franklin my best.
What a blast to the past! We've arrived in the American colonies on the 4th of July, 1776, and that founding father is none other than Thomas Jefferson.
Ah, the misfortune! The Second Continental Congress is assembled and waiting for me, but my final draft of the Declaration has been stolen.
No need to get all wigged out, Mr. Jefferson. We'll help you make your declaration.
In England, men wear powdered wigs in Parliament, and in the colonies, we wear them in Congress. They can make debating a truly hair-raising experience.
Thomas Jefferson was known to fiddle around with a violin. In fact, he was quite good. The dumbwaiter delivers food from the downstairs kitchen right into Jefferson's den. Now that's swell service.
I love to read. My favorite recent pamphlet is Common Sense by Thomas Paine. It makes quite an argument for colonial independence. Ah, those are the plans for Monticello, my dream home. I dabble in architecture, you know. Greetings. Forgive my distraction. The Declaration draft I was composing has been purloined, and the Congress is waiting on me. I am Thomas Jefferson, a representative of the colony of Virginia. I've been working on an important document for the American colonies called a Declaration of Independence. Actually, the idea for a declaration was inspired by a 5-man committee, of which I am just a part, but they asked me to do the actual writing. I have a bit of a knack for writing, so Adams and Franklin asked me to write out the Declaration. I've been working on it for 2 solid weeks. The American colonies live under the rule of King George of England, but his unjust rule has overtaxed our patience. We have decided to declare our independence. The king overtaxes the colonies and gives us no say in the matter. This is called taxation without representation, and it is most unjust. Delegates from all 13 American colonies have formed a Second Continental Congress in Philadelphia. They are waiting to sign the final declaration, but I haven't finished writing it yet. A thief stole my first draft of the Declaration of Independence, and I don't have enough parchment for a rewrite. Parchment is the key. If you can find me just a modest scrap, I'll be able to jot my thoughts down again and take them to the Continental Congress. If only I knew! The British taxes and naval blockade have caused a serious shortage in items like glass, lead, and paper. You'll have to keep a sharp eye out for parchment. Farewell. Please return if you find any parchment.
Oh, we thought you might be Jefferson. Where is that man? We need his declaration draft soon, or the colonies may never gain independence.
Well, look at that. King George looks a little footloose.
Hey, no touching the toes. Just like a colonist. We give you an inch and you try to take a foot. On your way then, and keep an eye out for tea.
Hey, we caught a boxfish. Actually, it looks like an old tea crate from the Tea Party. Cool. Back to Manhattan, New York.
Cheers. My men and I would love a spot of tea if you happen upon any.
I'm afraid not. We colonists are bringing the revolution to a boil, and drinking tea would be like cooperating with our British foes. I think not, my friend. We colonists aren't big on tea these days. No, no. We delegates are brewing up trouble, not tea.
No, I'm too nervous. The only tea I want is in declaration. Farewell.
Hey, keep back. We are protecting this lead statue of King George from angry colonists.
On July 9th, 1776, in just a few days, colonial troops will knock over the statue and melt it into musket balls for the war. King George obviously wasn't too popular.
Hark there, don't rile my red-coated troops. If you need anything, I'm the bloke in charge. Well, New York's a quaint little town, but many of the shops have closed owing to the blockade and shortages. It's all quite taxing. G'day. Blimey, but all this garden has made tea time a distant memory. I can't remember the last time we had a cup. Truth to tell, I'm a proud servant of my king, but I do feel for the colonists. They've been paying very steep taxes these days. Well, it's my job, you know. Besides, many British think these American colonists are just brewing up trouble about their tea taxes. Well, the colonial Minutemen are scrappier fighters than we expected. My soldiers are better disciplined, of course, but those colonists really want their independence. Why, this is a lead statue of His Honoured Majesty King George III. My Marines and I have been assigned to protect his kingship from rebel scavengers. You can look, but you can't touch. My job is to protect this statue. I can't have you making off with anything. Oh, for a cup of tea. When His Majesty taxed the tea, the colonists boycotted the stuff. They've declared coffee their new national drink. Tea is just impossible to find these days. The colonists have stopped drinking tea to protest the tea tax devised by King George. It all started with that Boston Tea Party in 1773. Some tricksters boarded 3 of our merchant ships, dressed as Indians, and tossed every crate of tea into Boston Harbor. Outrageous! My men are highly disciplined Marines who never accept bribes. However, an officer like me can be more, open-minded. Great kings of England! It's honest to goodness tea! If a bit waterlogged. Come on, lads, it's tea time!
Splendacious! It's a piece of the Carmen note. No thanks. I already have 2 left feet.
When we spoke of defeating King George, that's not exactly what we meant.
Nah, keep it. Adams is busy giving the country a step in the right direction. Negatory on that. Those delegates need to get the lead out and sign the declaration when it's ready.
You remind me that finding parchment will be no small feat. Fair.
That's a nice chunk of lead, but it's much too big to use as a musket ball.
Superific idea! Making ammo out of the lead statue. You're a high-caliber crime fighter. Back to...
I've been known to shoot my mouth off, but I have no need for lead shot.
John Adams may be a scrappy fighter, but his main ammunition is speech, not bullets. Negatory on that. Those delegates need to get the lead out. Nah, Jefferson doesn't need them. Politicians engage in wars of words, not bullets.
Fair.
Many of the shops are idle from lack of supplies. The furnace of the smithy back there hasn't melted any metal in quite a while.
A hot forge is perfect for melting metals, so they can be bent or poured into new shapes. That's gypsum, junk thrown over the side of a ship in distress. Looks like the Minuteman has been fishing some up.
I tried to fish, but I've been reeling in nothing but junk. British ships like that one have been blockading the harbor so other countries can't send supplies to us colonists. They're hoping we'll quit demanding independence. No chance.
Wow! The Boston Tea Party was one of the first acts of the colonial rebellion. Colonists disguised as Indians snuck aboard British trade ships and dumped all the tea overboard, right into Boston Harbor. No luck. I think Boston Harbor is all fished out.
Hey, you can't take my pole. But you can fish with it here if you want. No thanks. I never seem to catch anything except floating junk.
It's easy to get hooked on fishing. Try catching something.
My musket fires balls of lead, but lead is so scarce that we have orders not to shoot the redcoats till we see the whites of their eyes.
In one New Hampshire battle, the Minutemen only had about 15 lead musket balls each. They had to make every shot count.
That is a British ship of the line. It's loaded with cannon to blast any trade ships that try to sneak through the blockade. I plan to write my mother on this parchment, but I don't have any battles to write about yet. Without musket balls, I'll never get my shot at patriotism. Hey there. I'm just taking a minute to write a letter to Mother. I'm a Minuteman. I'm supposed to fight British Redcoats, and I'd be off like a shot. But like many Minutemen, I have no ammunition to shoot. Those blasted Redcoats took most of our ammunition. Musket balls are made of lead, and lead is heavily taxed by the British, so there isn't much around. Oh yes, we depend on England for most of our supplies, and we'd be in a bad way without their imported goods. I'm writing a letter to my dear mother on this piece of parchment. I'd rather be off fighting, but without musket balls, a letter is my only pastime. Well, if I'm not fighting, I'm sitting here writing. But you know, if you scavenged up some lead musket balls for me, I'd drop this old letter in a second. Good luck. The lead needed for ammunition is near impossible to find these days. We soldiers scavenge it from pipes, monuments, plates, you name it. That British warship is blockading our harbor. Those Brits are preventing friendly countries like France from sending us fresh supplies. Well, first there was the Boston Tea Party, and now a full revolutionary war is brewing. We colonists will win or die trying. We're outnumbered, but we fight cleverly, Indian style. We don't stand in silly straight lines like those Brits. I just turned 15. You could say I'm just a rebellious youth. Well, not really. But because the colonial army is so outnumbered, any man or boy old enough to aim a musket can join.
Bingo! Right idea! But I bet the Minuteman can load his musket faster than we can.
Yow! Thanks for the musket balls. Now I have my shot at joining the Continental Army. Long live the American colonies!
Thanks, but I have terrible penmanship. Jefferson could probably do a better job. Back to Manhattan.
That sort of fine parchment is perfect for composing independent sorts of thoughts. Adams won't want that. He once said Jefferson should write the Declaration because he's 10 times better at writing than Adams.
Thanks, but I have terrible penmanship. Jefferson could probably do a better job.
Parchment! You deserve volumes of praise. Now I can rewrite crucial parts of the Declaration of Independence. I've written out all the important points, but these paragraphs still need arranging. I'll hurry them over to the Pennsylvania courthouse, where the document can be completed. See you in the city of brotherly love.
Superific! You found part of the Carmen note. The suspect's schemes are going to pieces. Splendid!
How good to see you again. You're just in time. Ben Franklin is just now posting my paragraphs up for review and arrangement. How good to see you here in Philadelphia. Have you come to help assemble the Declaration? These are the delegates who will sign the Declaration, once we get our points arranged and the document fully written out. These delegates are businessmen and leaders representing all 13 colonies. This is no ragtag group of revolutionaries. The Founding Fathers are educated men. An excellent question. Some delegates are still loyal to Britain and want us to resolve our differences with King George. Personally, I think he's a royal pain. We're getting ready to sign the Declaration of Independence, but first we must put it in a convincing order. Of course. Simply match my paragraphs on the left with Ben Franklin's outline on the right. When they all match, I'll write out the Declaration.
John Adams has been a great help. He's convinced many delegates to sign the Declaration. Some delegates are British loyalists who don't want independence. But we'll convince them it's time we colonists stood up for our rights. Greetings! Many thanks for helping Tom obtain the parchment. But now we must get the Declaration in proper order. Benjamin Franklin's my name. Inventor, statesman, and clever writer. Ever heard of Poor Richard's Almanac? That's my publication, full of clever proverbs. A proverb is a witty little piece of homey advice. Here's one of my favorites. Early to bed and early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. Not bad, huh? Well, here's something off the top of my head. The delegate who completes our Declaration Sublime will save the American colonies in the nick of time. The delegates here are waiting for Jefferson to arrive with his draft. Then they need to make the hard decision to sign the Declaration. Not everyone is convinced that separating from England is the best thing to do. John Adams has worked to convince everyone that independence is our best option. But independence does not come without risks. If we lose our war for independence, everyone who put their signature on the Declaration of Independence will lose their heads. We're really sticking our necks out for this. Well, my outline presents our ideas in an organized fashion. It should help us arrange Jefferson's paragraphs into a sensational declaration.
Yes, indeed. So just match up my paragraphs on the left with Franklin's outline on the right. Good luck.
Well done! Jefferson's paragraphs match our outline perfectly. We have a most convincing declaration on our hands. Well done! You've helped organize this document into a memorable Declaration of Independence. Now, let's get those delegates signing before they lose their nerve, hmm?
Superific! You reconstructed the Declaration of Independence. Now let's track down our thief. Yeah! That's the final fragment of Carmen's note. Fantabulous! I'll activate the time cuffs.
No, that was Jefferson's device. Waiting for
that's using your noodle. The dummy was waiting in the dumbwaiter. Fantabulous! It's a major accomplishment to catch General Mayhem. Come on, General. You can think about independence. Independence.
You can court-martial me, but you'll never put Carmen Sandiego on trial.
Well done! You re-jailed General Mayhem, bartered your way from Virginia to Philly, and redrafted the Declaration of Independence. I salute you! Thanks to you, the 13 colonies are on their way to United Stateshood. But don't get too comfy. There's another crime dead ahead in time. Can I put you in charge of the case? Next stop is the early 19th century. Lewis and Clark should have crossed the Rockies by now, but instead, they seem to be stopped in their tracks. Better see if you can get them moving again. Once again, you'll be exploring unknown territory, so I'll send Rock Solid as your good guide. Good luck, and watch out for rattlesnakes.
I love time travel, but I'm getting tired of resetting my watch. Ah, the great outdoors. It looks like we're in North America where the Missouri River emerges from the Rocky Mountains. It's 1805, and we've run into the Lewis and Clark expedition.
Are you sure those journals aren't in the saddlebags? How could we let someone nab our notes like that? What are we going to do?
I've told you I searched those saddlebags a dozen times. Blast the luck. We'll never cross the Rockies without those notes.
And none of my Shoshone kin are nearby to help us.
Say, it sounds like someone's pilfered the pockets of these pioneers.
Those are peace and friendship medallions. They're gifts for the Indian chiefs we'll meet on our journey. In a pinch, they're great for trading, too.
President Jefferson gave us the medallions. He's eager to learn about the Indian tribes west of the Mississippi.
Lewis and Clark brought a large, diverse group of explorers with them. They carried light canoes over the mountains, but had to leave that big ship behind. I'm sure not going to carry it. That's the mighty Missouri River. Lewis and Clark sailed upriver this far, but can't go any farther by ship. They plan to hike across the Rockies, then boat down a westward flowing river to the Pacific Ocean.
One of our main goals in the Corps of Discovery is to find a waterway from St. Louis to the Pacific. But I have a sinking feeling it doesn't exist.
Hey there! I love a good hike as much as the next guy, but we'd better get more information from Lewis and Clark first.
Greetings, strangers. You are welcome in our camp. My name is Sacagawea of the Shoshone tribe. Lewis and Clark hired me as a translator and to help guide them through the mountain wilderness. I grew up in these mountains with my people, so I know of many dangers. On the steep cliffs, you must skirt the surly bighorn sheep. Avoid the strong current of the river. Most of all, beware the hungry bear. I have many memories of growing up in these beautiful mountains. I remember days spent weaving a tall basket. I also recall the sounds of my brother playing his drum. I later lived among the Mandan Indians on the plains. It was there I learned to make a sharp tomahawk. I also learned to make a sturdy moccasin. When I first met Lewis and Clark, they had just completed a long day's travel. They were very tired, and I offered them a blanket. Right away, they were both fast asleep.